Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. You're watching Business Today with me, Abby Agina. And we're having that important conversation on the economic stability and how is peace a resource towards ensuring stability and, of course, continuity of the economy. And my guests are still here with me, and we continue to dissect this very important matter. And thank you so much for your feedback. I'm seeing a lot of questions coming in, a lot of comments from different quarters, including Strathmore University. And thank you for your comments. And allow me to take it back to our guests at this point. And before we went for the break, we were discussing the youth factor in this election. And of course, a big conversation. The youth can play a very critical role, especially being the swing vote, as some would say. At the same time, the youth are the most vulnerable, 40% of the population. And you work very closely with the young people as well and community groups. Perhaps what more can be done differently, especially towards improving the level of dialogue to ensure the youths are part and parcel of this conversation as we go to the elections?
Okay, thank you, Abby. And we have different segments of youth. Majority of the youth I am working with are uneducated, and they are the most vulnerable. Yes, all youth are vulnerable, but the uneducated youth are more vulnerable than the educated ones, because it is easy to indoctrinate a certain belief in their mindset, and they will follow it to the latter. An educated youth can easily believe, and they don't easily give up whatever they believe in. This is why we created a community institution, so that it rallies different groups around a common vision, a common agenda. That is, it is not a must that you are educated. If you have the privilege of being educated, plow that back to your various communities. But for the uneducated youth along the valley, in different communities, in Nairobi, a community will mean people living in a certain location. In Suguta Valley, a community means a tribe in a certain location. And the definition of a tribe in a certain location can be used positively, because this tribe can work with this particular tribe and that particular tribe. And this is what we are doing as the Golden Valley, creating space for each person in whatever language they understand, explaining the different manifestos. We have tried to explain to them the two main political parties, political outfits, what they mean when they say bottom up. Is it a new idea? Is it that coining of what is already existing? When they say Azimio, what does it mean? The 10 points, what does it mean, the bottom up? Does it mean just pushing a wheelbarrow? What does it mean, Baba Care? Does it mean everything will be free? Does it mean you will have to contribute something? Or does it mean just minimizing the cost? When you say reducing the cost of living, what does that mean? That way we are able to manage their expectations, so that when my candidate wins, I know it is a win for Kenya. When your candidate loses, it doesn't mean you are out of place, you are still home. You should call where you live home, as long as it is within the boundaries of the Republic of Kenya. You are home wherever you are. Mm-hmm. So that is what we are trying to make the youth understand from the context of communities along Suguta Valley.
All right. Yeah. And Rashid, I'd like to hear your thoughts. Of course, the youth are the weakest link when it comes to politicians giving handouts, mobilizing them to come for rallies. Some of them can be used for wrong causes. For instance, gangs. And this can have a big impact on the business environment. When you look at safety of people at night, or people being able to operate, for instance, public service vehicles. And the youth are a key backbone towards us enjoying peace in this process. I'd like to hear your experience so far. What is the mood like when you interact with the young people, and how are you managing expectations?
Actually, this is a very good discussion, because if the youth at the moment, it's a little bit unpredictable. There's actually the apathy, whereby they don't care about the election because they're so tired. They feel, and for some of the youth that we talk to, that I engage with personally, they'll tell you if there was another option apart from the presidential candidates that are available, we'll have other options. But since it's them, there's no need to vote even. So there's that apathy, because according to majority of the youth, the system has already decided who is going to be the president. So why should I even vote? And that goes into the voters' apathy. The other aspect is the aspect of unemployment, whereby we've been talking about it for centuries, and it's not only in Kenya, we know it's globally, the aspect of unemployment. Unemployment actually affects majority of the youth, because youth are majority of our population. So the other aspect is, as much as we want to have peaceful election, how can we make sure that we are sustainably supporting this youth? Because if I didn't eat today, for instance, and then somebody comes and give me even a small money, as little as 100 shillings, and tells me go and initwa kugwara in informal settlements, kuja like ufanye kugwara. So what does that mean? I just go because I need that money? So when I'm engaging with youth, what I tell them is, you have the option of taking the money because it's been given to you, but you have the choice of choosing whether you want to actually go and cause that violence and attack at different political camps, or what. So the choice is yours. Eventually get the money, but at the end of the day, the choice is yours. The same way that when they're given money to vote for a certain leader, they'll be the ones going to the ballot box. I cannot tell. When I was having these community dialogues with youth, and you tell, there is no one who will tell you, I'm not going to take the money. So now we've agreed they're going to take this money, handouts from politicians. But now we make them realize that at the end of the day, the power of having a peaceful nation is up to you. But making sure that we try as much as we can to involve them, even now the new government, to start looking into unemployment so that we can reduce these matters.
Interesting. And Oko, what would your take be, especially it's not only a voter apathy in Kenya, but we're also seeing the same applying in different African countries. And the youth are slowly and surely losing interest in politics.
I will go back to the words of the Minnesota AG, who said that not voting is not a protest, it is a surrender. That is something that we often do not realize, and I agree with you, because I was talking to one of my students at Strathmore University, and they said they're not going to vote. When I inquired as to the reason why they won't vote, they said it's because they don't want to wake up in the morning to go queue at 6 a.m. But that's the same person that, if the economy is going bad, will still complain. That's the same person that, if, let's say, contracts are rigged and they, things hike up and all of that, they will still queue to beg for food. But now, that first right that we have as citizens, we are not even implementing it and then we're seeking for further opportunities, employment opportunities, education, and all of that, when we cannot even use the tools that we currently have. So it's a thing that I've seen in Nigeria, it's a thing that I've seen here in Kenya, and it's a thing that I've seen in so many other countries. And the reason is simple. The reason is because people believe that maybe those ahead of us, the elderly ones, our parents, that they've always voted. And to some people, maybe they've voted once or twice, given their young age, and they end up being disappointed when a new government comes in. Or maybe expectations that they have with regards to advancing studies, starting up businesses, they are not seeing the same, because for you to own a business licenses are expensive, or you need to see someone who knows someone to get what done. And because of that, now they are getting frustrated over the years. But then we also need to remember, like I said, that African countries, most of them, if not, I wouldn't say all of them certainly, but most of African countries are young democracies. It means the current generation would have to lay a stone for the other generations to now continue contributing to that particular structure.
All right.
If we put a break when it comes to our turn, then it means that what the economy that we're complaining about being bad, or things that we're complaining about being bad, will only get worse. Why? Because we believe that our votes don't count when we don't even make it count.
Okay.
When we don't even go in the first place.
Quite interesting.
Yeah.
I see.
I think
Your closing thoughts as we wrap it up.
Oh, I think the Kenyan democratic space is increasing. From where I come from, I think the youth have realized the importance of voting. Because we are working with 3 different countries, with different counties, with different communities. They used to say, if for example, I was in Jubilee and the Pokoti is in Kanu, the Turkanas will not join Kanu, just because the Pokots are in Kanu. But they have slowly but surely realized we can be in the same party, or we can be in different parties, but still respect each other. And for the Kenyan economy to grow, we looked at this at Strathmore. Kenya has left behind a whole economic sector that can change the GDP of this country, the pastoral economy. You can hear the main political contenders talking about coffee, they are talking about tea, they are talking about dairy farming. Nobody is talking about livestock farming for beef.
All right.
And that is where we are saying this election is very, very important for the 14 ASAL counties. Why? We are positioning ourselves as the next big economic bloc. You assume any ASAL county at your own risk.
All right.
You don't talk about pastoralist economy at your own risk. Because, one, we have realized that unity is power. We have realized that we need peace for us to make good of our land and our livestock and our people. So we have the land, the livestock, and the people as factors of production in the northern frontier. So it is high time we should think about the northern frontier. We see all the political contenders.
Point well made. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you for that. Rashid, your closing thoughts?
So
Less than 30 seconds.
My closing thought is that for us as Kenyans, we should not be waiting until election time to start talking about peace. Peace should start being ingrained in us as much as we can. Even have curriculums around peace so that we start embodying it as Kenyans. Because eventually, if we don't start practicing peace, it will affect even the economic aspect and the social aspect of our lives.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You have the final word.
Yeah, mine is, remember COVID-19 did a lot of damages, and if we allow further damages to occur as a result of the elections coming up, I don't know where the economy and the lives that it affects would be. So peace should be the building block, and this is actually a call to all student leaders out there to take the same message down to the campus level so that the youth will be at least peaceful and useful during the election period and afterwards.
Awesome. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for your great insights into this conversation. We were speaking to Collins Oko, the President, Strathmore University Student Council, Misa Rashid, the CEO and founder of Nivishe Foundation, and last but not least, Mary Ekai, from the executive, she's the Executive Director, Golden Valley Cooperative. And of course, we shall be continuing this conversation as we look forward to the elections, and a lot still to be covered. And we thank you for your valid feedback and your company as we have this conversation. And until tomorrow, keep it locked here on KTN News, where you get the whole story. My name is Abi Agina. Have a lovely afternoon and keep safe.